Hello. Hi. So I just started recording this. I'm very excited. Finally, our dream came true. We have our little show.
Our little show.
Yeah. You know what? When I was watching this documentary, the interview, Matt said to me, write everything down. I'm like, I need to remember everything. And then at the end, I'm like, crap, what am I supposed to say? But there's no time for rewatching. We just need to hit the spot. We just need to do it.
I have been watching snippets as I've been getting ready, and I have to say something.
Listen.
Wow.
I know. And we need to start from the beginning. But you know what's interesting to me? I think this interview, we need to say what we are talking about. We are talking about Meghan Markle, and is he Prince Harry? Can we still call him Prince Harry?
Yes, I mean, officially, that's his title. That's what he was born into.
Yeah, so we will be talking about Meghan and Harry's interview, which was hosted last night in the US. And it will be hosted today, which is 8th of March in the UK. And it will be hosted in Poland at the same time at 8:30 p.m. in Poland. So there's a different audience in Poland, in the UK, and in America. So the opinions will be wild, because I know myself, I know from my audience, like I came across a lot of opinions that, people are very negative about Meghan and Harry. But I think it's everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it really is. I'm going to move quickly so that I am somewhere where you can see.
Yeah, nice.
I was by the window, but I think I wanted to be, there we are. Let me just move.
But how can I view gallery? Oh, that's easier, I think.
Okay, this is much better, much clearer.
Yeah.
Right. Let me say, like you said, the audience is very different across the board. The US, obviously, audience was just really trying to find out. They're just nosy about.
And they know nothing about the culture. They know nothing about the Queen.
Exactly. They're just obsessed with the whole monarchy thing. And, king, queen, kind of the fairy tale. They're obsessed with the fairy tale.
This is what Meghan said during the interview, that I know that there's a queen and there's a prince, but I treat them as celebrities.
Yeah. But it's like that for most people outside of Europe. But when you get into the UK, they're very monarch-based, because I think the monarch represents it represents what it is to be British.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start the first part of the interview. And this is really like where we talk about Meghan and how she felt and how she was treated. So before you watch the interview, what did you think of Meghan?
Exactly. That's the good question. Like, I always try to be neutral, because to be honest, I was never into royals. I watched The Crown, and that opened my eye a little bit, and my eyes. Like before, it was there is a queen, there's a royal family, it's part of the culture. I can't actually complain because I'm just an immigrant here, so there's nothing I can say. But my opinion was based on other people's opinion, and some people say, it's just useless, they are wasting our money, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Then on the other hand, it's the part of culture, and it's nice that we have, it's 2020, 21, whatever, and we still have monarchy. But the more I was like digging into it, like I've noticed there is a problem there.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit problematic having having this kind of monarchy, because I feel like they are stuck in the past a lot. Like you can see different royalties. Like for example, in Monaco, Monte Carlo, right?
I want to go to
they also have monarchy. They also
which is very different.
Very different. They are very open-minded, and they are trying to reach to new people. You know what I mean? We were
embracing the young. And also, when you think about, it's such a great comparison, because when you think about the Monaco monarch, Grace Kelly was an actress who married Prince Albert.
Yes.
And so she was an actress.
Prince Albert is the current one.
The father's name was Albert as well.
As well. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. It's just when you think about that,
breath of fresh air.
They were able to recognize Grace Kelly. And if you think about where they were in Monaco at that time, as a monarch, they weren't making that much money, and they were trying to find ways to make money. So then they capitalized on Grace Kelly being an actress. And the UK just had that opportunity.
Yeah.
Just had
Yeah.
that. Not that they were making money. They were making money.
Even with Diana, they had great opportunity. But
great opportunity.
Yeah, and Harry said that history repeats itself. And I can see even through watching Crown, obviously Crown is not real. Like, it's based on true story.
But I think they like the Crown. They said, Harry said,
parts of it. Yeah, that was so funny.
He said, the Crown is, they don't pretend to be real news, but it's loosely based on truth. And I said, okay,
I love that. Yeah, but I remember watching first episode of Crown or second series of Crown when young Queen Elizabeth, she went to Australia, and then we can see her struggles, and then we can see Diana's struggles exactly same time, and then we can see Meghan's struggles, and and I just don't know why they didn't stop this earlier. Why?
I mean, personally,
this is what hits me when Harry said history likes to repeat
itself.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so true.
And he's scared of that. I mean, for me, I think that Meghan coming in was a breath of fresh air. She came in with fashion on point, class, and relatable. And I think what she did is she brought a whole different audience with her.
Yeah.
You know, people like to say she's a gold digger, but Meghan was and now watching this episode, we know that Meghan was and is richer than Harry. Because Meghan came in with her own money. She had her own. She had two properties, one in the USA, one of her properties worth 1.85 million, and then she had another property in Canada that she owned, not owned by the monarch or owned by the whoever, and she had her own life, and she had friends like Oprah.
But it was never her dream to be a princess. It was never never.
Like when I think about her, it's like she had her own life prior, and she is the first person to join the royal family who had, in the UK anyway, who's had her own life. She had her own money, and she had her own life.
Change her whole life.
She had friends like Serena Williams, Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry.
And this is what people say, that this is not fair, and that Oprah was interviewing them. I'm like, what do you think? I mean, I think it's worth to mention that they didn't take any money for this interview.
Nothing.
Completely for free, because people say, oh, now she sold everything. The whole interview is changing when Harry joins.
I mean, I always thought, well, Harry, this guy who went to war, who's been in the army, can't speak for himself now. I always thought like that. But in this interview, you really get to see.
And Oprah was very harsh on him.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I feel so uncomfortable for him. And she was like, why did you do this? Why did you blah, 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 blah.
When he said, no, I don't feel comfortable talking about that.
That was good, yeah.
Yeah, he said no. If you think about it, when I see what Meghan explains, and I think you'll see this across the board, a lot of women will agree, and a lot of women of color or Black women will say, I've seen this happen. I've seen it happen where I haven't done anything, and maybe you have experienced it or whatever as an expat or an immigrant, if you want to call yourself that, that sometimes you do something and you don't think about it. You haven't even made a mistake, but instead of the person who's actually made the mistake saying, oh, I made the mistake, sorry, ever to put you in they just let you get into trouble. I don't know if you've ever experienced this in work. And I think that's the same, instead of Kate coming out, because Meghan said Kate sent flowers and apologized, and Meghan forgave her, and nothing happened on Meghan's end. And people that work for Meghan were like, no, this didn't happen. But all Kate needed to do was say that it was her. I just dropped my earring. Oh gosh, guys.
I'm wondering why they never respond. Why didn't
Kate just say, no, that's not how it happened?
Yeah.
All she had to say was,
she is silenced.
But she is complicit. By being silent, that means that she approves of the way that Meghan is being treated. And by being complicit or silently approving, means that she's jealous of Meghan.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I got from it. I got from it that, like I said before,
like with Diana, people were jealous of Diana.
Yeah, and also, but what I got from it was like Meghan came into the royal family having established a career for herself. Kate didn't come with nothing. She didn't have a career when she got married to Prince, what's his face? She didn't have, she just went to St. Andrews. She just went to university and did a little bit of internship work, but she didn't have a career. She didn't have money of her own. She didn't have an established life for herself.
One of the articles said that Kate was crying because of Meghan, but according to the interview, it was the other way around, that Meghan was crying because of Kate, and the whole problem Meghan and Harry, but mainly Meghan had, is that there was lack of support in the royal family. That's the whole problem. Why they left? Why did you leave? Like, you were supposed to be a princess. And she said, it doesn't look like this. We had no support. And that was shocking to me. But in the future, well, not in the future, in the past, when I was watching Crown, and then I was watching interviews with Princess Diana. I was watching interviews with Sarah Ferguson, and they were all saying the same thing, that they were locked in this castle and they had no life.
Couldn't do anything.
They couldn't even have their light on. No light.
I mean, I think it's so strange. I think it's crazy strange. I want to know who is the firm.
An institution.
And Oprah said, who is the firm? When Meghan said she went to complain, speak to the senior member about needing help, and that person said no. And I thought, who would say no to someone saying, I am struggling here?
Yeah, there's an institution. It's not just a royal family. It's a institution, and it's a business. It's a business in first place.
Yes, it's a business.
And maybe royals.
That's why they have a HR.
Yes, Queen Elizabeth, Kate, Charles, they can think and they can say whatever they want, but there are protocols, there are laws, and they probably have lawyers and PR people who make.
There are people who speak for them.
Exactly.
So there are people who, which means that they don't have as much autonomy as we.
They have nothing to say. Like, what does Queen do? She doesn't have any political power. She's just meeting prime ministers. She can't even have her own opinion about things. She's just.
I mean, this is what Meghan said. She said it's great to have freedom, and she compared it to the coronavirus. She compared it to lockdown. Being a princess and being a duchess, she compared it to being in prison, essentially. You know, not having any. And I feel so sorry for her. But I totally believe her. And do you know why I believe her? Because if any of what they're saying in this interview is wrong and it's not right, they can take me to court. Defamation. Yeah. They can take them to court for defamation of character. I think it's really interesting how, as well, just going into this interview, Meghan has won all of her cases now. She's won the case with the court, with the newspaper. The
tabloids are just horrible here. Horrible. But I don't know. The situation was with Diana. It happened already. They will never learn the lesson. But this is what they said. It's a circle, because the royal family is making money out of it, and they are making money out of them. And it's a circle. And what was shocking, no, it wasn't shocking, but the parties for press are hosted in the royal palace.
That was shocking to me. That was shocking to me. That was because I just think that there's some elements of, I was going to say, there are parts of the interview that went in a certain direction, and I was like, are we going to go there? We are going there.
But it was good, you know. I think the tea was spilled, but, you know, not too much, without any negativity. Well, not any negativity.
I think it was very classy.
It was good. Like, Marty was asking, do you think they will be talking about Prince Andrew? Do you think they will be talking about, I'm like, no, better not.
They were talking about themselves and their experience.
Yeah, which is good. And they didn't actually say bad things about them. They said that, but at the beginning of the interview, she said she was welcomed by everyone from the royal family. So it seems like she was welcomed by the royal family, but she wasn't welcomed from the institution. Everything has changed.
Because the thing is, and this is why I think Kate was jealous of Meghan. Or at least there was a competition there, because of how well received Meghan was. She was loved, but I mean, the minute she got in front of the camera, it was like all eyes on Meghan. I mean, for example, just the way she was doing, like she does the way Meghan is to the way Kate is very different. Kate
Yeah.
is not so open. She's
Yeah.
a lot more, I wouldn't say reserved, I would say cold. I don't think
Yeah.
she's a people's person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas I think Meghan is naturally a people's person. And that's why I think they thrived when they did their tours, and her and Harry coming together was a beautiful thing. But I think that there wasn't a competition, and which is what she pointed out. She said, you don't need to like me and hate her, or like her and hate me. It's not the same. It doesn't negate, you can love us both equally. But I do think that she touched on a lot of stuff. Let's move on from this part of the conversation and move into where it really gets juicy, when Harry actually joins. So
just before, okay.
Go on, what were you going to say?
I was going to say about the baby and the color of the baby. That was, it was shocking to me. But to be honest, it was shocking, but I'm not very surprised. But it's just speaks for itself. They're just racist.
I mean,
so much
the
to
fact that
like this is.
I mean, you have to think about their relationship. It was very quick.
Very quick. 2 years.
8 days.
What?
Yeah, they dated for 8 days until they decided that they were going to be.
I didn't know about this. I thought it was 2 years.
No, because they were saying in the conversation, they said their courtship was 8 days. It was 8 days.
What's courtship?
Into them. So courtship is like going on dates, seeing each other.
Oh, okay.
So they said
he decided to move back to this.
It was 8 days. They said because they had to fit it all in a certain amount of days because of scheduling. So because of his schedule and her filming, and they couldn't go out, they couldn't do it in public. They all had to do it in private. And so it was within 8 days, they had to do it all, kind of ask each other questions. And they were dating at home. So they were cooking and romanticizing. So who knows, it started, it happened very quickly. So it's really interesting that it happened that quickly. I lost my train of thought because we were going to talk about the kid.
Baby, yeah.
It's just crazy that 2 years after they were dating, they got engaged. But in them deciding that they wanted to be together, it took 8 days for them to decide. And I think that's great on Harry. He was like, I like me some of this. I'm going to take a little bit of this. But I think that's great that he could make a decision within those.
At the beginning, he didn't even think that her skin color might be any problem in the future. Like he said,
no.
I wasn't even thinking about it. I fell in love with this girl, and
you just thought, wow, what an amazing woman. Not, well, what an amazing half black woman or black woman, which is crazy to me. But I mean, really, when you think about, like, I don't even know what to say. This thing about the kid, that they were talking about the kid, it's not even born yet, and they're like, oh, what color is the kid going to be? And everybody on Twitter was speculating. They were like,
what's going to happen if the baby won't be white? Like, and they said straight away that he won't be a prince.
Which is crazy.
He won't be a prince because of what? Because he might be not white?
Why wouldn't he be a prince? Like, his father is a prince. It's protocol for him. And then,
exactly, what? They were changing, over the sudden, they were changing the protocol?
Yeah. As when they feel, do you know what I saw somewhere? I think it was on Twitter, I was reading the comments or something. Someone said, none of the Queen's grandkids are princes. And someone said, but what about Princess Eugene? And they were like, but these, and they were, and I was like, but they're considered princesses. Prince Andrew's kids are considered princesses.
Yes. Princess. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the difference with Harry? If anything, actually, Harry is closer to the throne. So these kids definitely need to take on.
Yeah.
And when you think about Princess Charlotte,
what did they say? Why?
They didn't explain. They're still waiting for an answer. Apparently.
That's true. Yeah.
They're still waiting for an answer on it.
But and Harry said that he still has great contact with his grandmother, which is Elizabeth the Queen, and they FaceTime and they talk quite often. But he doesn't have contact with Charles. And to be honest, I don't know, this Charles.
He said his father stopped taking his calls.
They went to Canada.
When they went to Canada, and they chose to go to Canada because it's a Commonwealth. Meghan lives there, they know it. It's Commonwealth, and they want to continue in their role. Not because they quit their roles, because they wanted to continue in their roles.
Why they don't speak about Prince Andrew and what he's done? Like, quiet.
Thank you.
Like, he has allegations that he is a pedophile, allegedly, but we know.
Allegedly. They decided to take away, so they haven't confirmed whether Archie is going to be a prince or not. But what I like in that decision is that Harry was like, okay, well, he made a really good decision. He made a decision. It must
be very hard for him.
No, he wasn't very happy. But I also think it's so funny that they decided to remove Prince Harry's, the papers leaked their address first and foremost.
In Canada?
They had pictures of where they were staying. They leaked where they were staying. After they did that, they then removed Prince Harry's security.
Yes. Oh my God. Can you say this? Like, this is so bad.
And then after removing his security, they then cut him off. They cut him off. Yeah. He said, I am broke. If I didn't have my mom's money, what she left me, my inheritance, I would have nothing. I have nothing if I didn't have that. And it took, Meghan's friends. It took Meghan's friends to help them out.
Yeah, they let them stay for 3 months in their house.
Yeah,
but who is making these decisions? Do you think it's not Elizabeth who is making these decisions? Because they're talking to each other on FaceTime, like everything is great, life is good, but on the other hand, they are just making sure that their life will be ruined.
I just don't understand how she doesn't know this is happening. Me, if that was my child, my grandkid, my favorite grandkid who I speak to all the time, I'd be like, honey, how are you getting along? What's up? Oh, like, what do they talk about?
I think it's not their royal family who's making all these decisions, but there's someone else on their behalf. Or if it's the royal family, which means it's his father's, his grandma, they're just evil.
The royal family, they say the royal family, the monarch is worth so much money. Okay,
is that?
Are they though?
No,
Harry's broke.
Yeah.
If Harry's broke, are they?
They don't have that much money. Like, they live out of the taxpayers' money. The Windsor Palace hasn't been renovated in years. Like, it looks exactly the same. It's falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
They have money, but they don't have as much money as we think they do.
That's crazy.
They're not doing anything to change that.
I think it's crazy, but I do think that I can't blame Harry for then going with the idea of setting up Archewell as a company, media company, and capitalizing and monetizing that. If you cut me off and say I don't get to have security to protect my family,
and they didn't take any money for this interview. Let's say that again.
Yeah, and they didn't take any money for the interview, but they went for the exposure element, and they're doing other stuff that they're doing. Whose money are they using? The richest spouse in this relationship. I mean, to speculate, if Harry says that he left, he has nothing apart from his inheritance. That means that the spouse that has the most money in this situation is Meghan.
And do you know what was the reaction after interview was released today?
Yeah, so
I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen.
That's
what I say.
So I spent the morning looking at everybody's reaction.
So before we go into that, let's summarize this whole interview, and then we will talk about what happened after.
Okay, cool. I mean, for me personally, I think they did this as an insurance policy, because now if anything ever happens to Meghan and Harry, we know who did it. I think in doing this interview and releasing some of this information, because they released some really interesting information, and they said, especially when Harry said, I'm scared of history repeating itself.
Yes.
And that it might, and I thought it would repeat itself.
Yes.
Alluding to the people that are in power, the firm.
So who the hell is the firm?
Who is the firm?